There you are. Hi,
Hi.
Crystal.
Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
Good. I'm Landslide. This is Hiker's Dream. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being interviewed here.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm good. Down here in Baja, Mexico. I did the
Ah,
PCT in 2014 with my son, and ever since then, I've been involved with the environment. So we're doing
oh,
projects down here.
awesome. Awesome.
So where are you at now in your hike?
I just crossed the Oregon border. So I just crossed over into Oregon, finished all of California, and then decided that I wanted to give my body a few days of rest. So I'm in Ashland right now, hanging out. Probably get back on the trail either tomorrow or the next day.
Okay, how's it been going? How do you feel after the state of California there?
um, like I don't know. I feel really excited. Like, ooh, I did something cool. Like I hiked an entire state. But then also too, I'm like, my feet hurt. I want to sleep in a bed. I don't want to share, hostel spaces or like spaces with other
Yeah.
hikers. So yeah, I feel accomplished, but also feel very tired and feel like I need additional care for my body in order to continue to journey on. So that's where I'm at right now.
California's tough. There's so many eco zones there, the desert, the Sierras, and mountains.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is this your first long distance hike, or you've done others?
I've completed the JMT, the Arizona Trail, and
Okay.
the T Superior Hiking Trail. But this is my longest by far trail.
I would like to do the Arizona Trail with my son in October. Do you have any advice for me?
Advice for you:
Yeah.
have some water. Like, make sure that you have water. Is like because if you're going the correct direction, which is north to
I'm gonna
south,
I'm gonna go south in
you're gonna,
October. South, yeah,
you're starting in Utah.
yeah, in October.
Oh, okay, yeah. You're gonna have issues with water as you move south.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll have like once you get past, like I think near a little bit before Payson, you'll start to get where you're like, I don't know where water is, and I want it to come. So that was my only thing is water, but you'll be drinking with a lot of cows. So
Yeah.
I Sawyer filter, but then I also use tablets because I didn't like the color. Like, so I would filter twice because cows are kind of interestingly gross and will drink anything. And it's like, I just want to filter this because they'll like bathe in the same water they're drinking from. It's like they just play in it. And I'm like, okay. So I did both filter and tablets.
Well, that's interesting because I use MMS, which is the active ingredient in the tablets, water purification tablets. It's the chlorine dioxide. So I use that regularly.
Mm,
So I'm going to bring some of that along in liquid
okay.
form. Yeah. And
Right
maybe a
on.
burrow with some water in it. Would that
Yeah.
help? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So on to you. What made you go out here and do the longest trail you've ever done? You know?
Um, what made me do it? Uh, as I become more and more involved in the outdoor community, it's only been since 2016. I'm noticing a huge lack of uh, people of color, women, openly LGBT folks, people with disabilities, and so I want that. I want to kind of like show folks that you can have these challenges and you can also still enjoy the outdoors. And so I do this Great Western Loop at 7,000 miles. And so in opting to do it, my whole mission was to get more people like me and my intersecting identities outdoors, involved, in love with nature as much as I am. And I'm doing it like kind of like one footprint at a time, like one step at a time. I'm like, hey guys, I'm here. Like, this is what I'm doing. There are people who look like me that enjoy the same things, and they want to come out too. So like, be respectful. So that's kind of like why I do it. I love it. And I want other people to come out and do it too, because I know how beneficial being outdoors can be for us.
You're very articulate how you express yourself. Thank you. And I had the same experience after my hike. It was the first hike I ever did, long distance, and I just fell in love with and got addicted to outdoors, basically. And here I am doing promoting awareness for the planet and just being outdoors and living with nature and supporting nature instead of destroying it and trying to manipulate it. So there's a lot of things going on the public's not aware of that. It's pretty dastardly. So we want more people to wake up to what's really going on. People like you are essential, you know. I didn't know you're doing the Great Western Loop.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So how does that work?
It's the Arizona Trail, the Grand Enchantment Trail, Continental Divide, Pacific Northwest, and the PCT. They make a loop around the U.S. And so we get
8,000 miles.
Parts. Yeah, and this is year 3.
Okay, this is your 3rd year.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm doing it in 3 years, and this is year 2.
Okay.
So after this season, I'll do the Continental Divide and the Grand Enchantment Trail. Okay,
and you didn't want to do it all in 1 year?
I physically cannot do it all in 1 year. Okay. I have a medical implant that requires that I recharge to a plug system, and I have to get off trail every 10 to 12 days to recharge the battery, and it's a forced neuro and then a 0. So it's like I'm always taking those days off, and I'm not a fast hiker. I'm one that like I want to engage in the land. Like I have like a meaningful relationship with the outdoors and with the planet. And so if I'm out there and I have this time to spend, I'm not going to like rush through it trying to acquire miles. I want to stop and hug some trees, like look at some birds, like chill out by a lake. I don't want to rush through that connection. Like that's just me though.
You're like my son who basically quit in Northern California on the border, Oregon and California, where he just wanted to spend more time. He went to the coast to Humboldt County, explore. Then he met me up in Sisters, Oregon. He just kind of wanted to slow down, and then finally had to go back to school. But it can be like a freeway. I mean, especially some of these fast hikers, you're like on a freeway. It really does feel that way, you know. And there's a time factor, of course, you know, getting to the border by a certain time. But there's something to be said about that. Yeah, about becoming more aware of your surroundings, really. And so what are some of the things you've become more aware of in terms of nature?
Like, I think one thing that's really fascinating to watch is how the things within nature, they just like happily coexist. And I don't know, it's like something that can't be explained. I feel like it's more of something that needs to be felt to be understood completely. But like, you can like, I don't know, you'll see like a butterfly. It's gonna be weird. A butterfly that like comes out of its cocoon, like, and then it like doesn't really have to, it's like effortless. It just starts flying. There's no clumsiness. It's just, you just watch it and it just flies, and it doesn't land. It just flies because it's like, oh, I just discovered that I have these wings and now I'm going to use them. And I'm like, could you land now that you've come out? I don't know. So things like this is really, really like beautiful to like witness and like watch. So it's like, for me, it's like something that everyone needs to go and experience in some form. Like, and I'm not advocating for the world to all become long distance hikers. I think that would damage the land. But just getting outdoors and just seeing like how like kind of insignificant your life is, because you can see like the grandness of everything else that's taking place. I don't know, there's something that I really enjoy.
Well, yeah, I see the nature as the consciousness, and we're affecting that consciousness not only by the pollution and poisoning of the water, air, etc., but actually a consciousness you can relate to, and it relates back. If you were sincere, if you were as sincere as nature, there'd be a lot more going on between us, interactions, because it does respond. I know I'm a gardener. Some plants like roses, they really respond to like care, like fertilizer, water, and how you manage them. So nature in itself too is very responsive. And right now, unfortunately, it's not looking too good the way we've been managing it. And I always look to the indigenous people and how they supported it. They didn't harm it or own it, or didn't. They had a different kind of relationship with it. And you can go off and, I mean, you can have your technology, but just make it clean, make it beneficial, and not destroying things along the way with it.
Yeah.
So your biggest challenge so far? What has been your biggest challenge?
I deal with a lot of like racism on trail.
And so I saw that on Facebook. Yeah.
That has been a huge challenge. Like mentally for me, that's been huge. But like physically, my biggest challenge has to do with the snow and the rain. Like it's the snow is, I've never been a fan of snow. I hate setting up potential snow. So that's something that's like a challenge for me, because it's both physical and mental, because I have to get over like the like I'm gonna freeze to death mindset.
Yeah.
Like you have to tell yourself you're actually fine, you'll be fine, you have the things you need to stay warm. But I really don't like the cold. I don't like it when it's wet and I have wet socks and I'm like, I'm over this. But yeah, those are my like physical challenges. Those are the things that I don't like. Like, I mean, I don't dislike them. I just would rather like ideal, perfect conditions be out there for my hiking. But yeah,
I hear you on that. I was concerned about hypothermia and cold, especially if there's multiple days of rain or something like that where you can't dry out. Have you had that too, or where?
Yeah, I recently just had that, and I took everything out of my pack because I came across a ranger station that had been like, rangers aren't currently using it. And so I just went to the ranger station so that I could stand underneath it to like dry out my stuff. But then the door was open. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go in, because it's listed that it's closed. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to go in. So I took out all of my stuff and like hung it so that it would dry. And then I left my wallet so I'm like, but yeah, there are moments, opportunities of like happiness. Cause it was like, I was hiking really, really like, oh my God, it's wet. Everything's wet. Life sucks. And then I come across this ranger station and I'm like, oh, yay, a place for me to dry out my gear. Nature does not want me to die out here. Like, it's like one of those things, beautiful to see. So, yeah.
And sometimes it's those little things, trail angels, just a beautiful sunset can lift your spirits.
Yeah.
Yes, I my wallet was lost at a hitch I made to Julian. I must have dropped it in the back seat, the car. So I gave him like $5, I think, for gas, but they got a lot more than $5 in my wallet.
Yeah.
So at that time there was the Dunsmuirs. They were before the Andersons. There were trail angels where you could really take it easy, do your laundry, resupply, go to town, and
Yeah.
she let me borrow some money, and when I got back, I paid her back when I got back home.
Yeah.
Did you ever get your
I
wallet back or not? Or what happened?
not. I haven't gotten it. This was like this was like a week ago. I haven't gotten it back yet. I like posted everywhere that I could possibly post that I could think of, like every Facebook group that I'm a part of. I posted on Instagram, posted on Facebook, posted it in the Far Out app. Like someone has to find this, because in addition to my wallet, it was like I'd taken like my notebook. So I was in the middle of writing like this really, what I'd like to say now is an amazing article, but there's no way we could ever know this because the journals are gone. I put my journals and my money into a little, like into my tent stake bag. And then I left the bag. So my money and my journals are in there. I think what's most upsetting is the journals.
Oh,
Well, I mean, people
yeah.
need money. The journals are also, yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
I live with a guy, he's an author, and twice he lost the book he was writing. He was like halfway through and his computer crashed or something. He lost the whole book. He had to start over. So I know it can be very frustrating, when you have to do that.
Yeah.
Now, do you have support at home, or you have people can help you with the money?
I haven't really asked anyone for help with the money because
Okay.
because I'm like, I'm going back on trail tomorrow or the next day. And so it's just like, it sucks that I don't have the money, but it just means that I just don't buy certain things. I grew up kind of low income. I grew up poor. So like what I need to sustain me in life is never like monetary. So, I mean, I think I'll be fine. I just want my notebooks back. To have money back would be nice too, but I'd be happy with my notebooks.
I've heard people that just live out of the hiker box, the whole trail. So maybe that's you too.
No,
No?
I don't do that. I don't rely on,
Okay.
I can't. There's like, I have to know what I'm eating. I ran out of food at near Mirror Ranch, and I was like, oh, some hiker left this really great box full of their prepackaged meals, but I didn't have any idea what they were. So I was just like, oh, I'm gonna have some. And so that was stupid. But me and another hiker got really sick doing this. And there are who will become really like entitled and get upset at like businesses and places for the businesses not having what they want them to have inside of the free hiker box. So a lot of places are starting to remove the hiker boxes anyways, but I would never rely on them.
Okay. Yeah, some hikers I hear, well, I didn't really see this, but they feel like they're privileged somehow.
Yeah.
So we don't want to see that. We want to see people, humble and basically the community there is supportive of each other. I found, at least in my life, the hiker community. In terms of race, I don't remember any Black people. I remember a Japanese guy. He was from Japan, and he actually carried a Japanese flag, believe it or not, on his. It was pretty big on it. Had it stuck on his backpack. The Japanese flag, and this is kind of odd, but he never finished the trail. I heard he got to Northern California. He bailed, but so this is kind of odd. That is that some of the things you've been sharing in your journals and things like that. I mean, how you've been discriminated against, or what, or
I'm sure that's in there.
Yeah.
I was writing an article that is due in it, and I'm sure I'd mentioned that. Thankfully, I don't think I mentioned any names. I think I just mentioned situations. Yeah, but I mean, your thoughts. It's like for me, it's like, I don't know, it would be like someone, I don't know, like someone taking your journal. I think that's what's most bothersome.
I see it returning. I mean, that's kind of an obvious place that people would locate and see it, and then, you know, if they're any kind of decent people, they would try to get in contact with you.
Yeah.
So
that's my hope.
Well, it's only been a week, so give it some time. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. There are people who are posting all the time on the app. Like, I lost all of my diabetic supplies in this bag. Like, I don't know if they ever got it back. The only thing I've lost a couple of things, my wallet and then my headlamp, but in different towns. And oddly, as soon as, like, there were these people who, like, they came into town and they were the very first people I asked. I was like, hey, how are y'all? They're like, good. And I'm like, hey, by chance, did you find a headlamp? And they're like, yeah, we did. So now I've just been asking everyone, have you found? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, cool. Good talk.
I wonder if there's any locals nearby, or the ranger station itself, or the ranger stations around it. You could possibly look.
Yeah, I'll check into that. I haven't. The station is not used by rangers currently, okay. So we'll see.
But concerning body types, I mean, there's all kinds of body types, even animals. Everybody, all body types, they're just their awarenesses using different vehicles to express themselves. Even, you know, but like, say, animals, but they have certain restrictions, just like we do, actually. They can do more things than we can, and vice versa. But each body type has its restrictions, but the color, the whatever, the look, I mean, it's just a vehicle. Eventually you got to leave it and go on. So that's, I just see that as whatever. Now, have you, just curious, I always ask people about their dreams. Have your dreams changed to nighttime dreams when you've been on trail compared to like back home? Have you had any difference?
Not any that I am aware of. I think I just sleep peacefully outdoors, and it's just sleep.
Yeah, because well, I remember I didn't dream for the first month, but when I did, it was like a relief. It was like a release valve, because I go to sleep, wake up, and it was like, okay, here's another day without a break. But the dream gave me a break, so I started dreaming again. It's kind of an interesting phenomenon, you could say, you know.
Yeah. What
are some of the things you do that other hikers don't do? You have like a certain way about, you know, like how many miles you do a day and that kind of thing?
I think what I do that a lot of hikers don't do is I hug a lot of trees. I hug tons of trees. And I don't set miles for the day. I just go from like when I wake up until the sun sets. So I just walk from sunrise to sunset. I take breaks throughout the day. I stop and write. I don't know. I just kind of chill.
Do you have a trail family, or do you hike with others?
No, I don't have a trail family. I occasionally will join with people for a few days. But I don't have a trail family. That requires commitment. Like, that would require commitment on another person's part, because they would have to come off trail with me for my recharge. Like, stop, recharge, things like this. And so it's hard to like get a family that's committed to, you know, taking this time off, or not like wanting to go out and crush miles and do this. And I have no desire to do that. If there was a hiker who also had a disability that also needed to get off trail and do the same thing, then I might join that family. And that's one of the reasons why representation and like seeing yourself in the outdoors is important. So like if another hiker, like say with the disability, like knows that they have like challenges, like maybe they need to get off trail every couple of weeks to go to a pharmacy or something like this, And they're afraid that like their trail family will leave them if they have to do these things. Yeah, I hope to make it so that people feel more comfortable, I guess. Excuse me. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, my son and I started at the same time, but you know, we'd split up. We meet at different trail towns by accident or not, or by plan. But we kind of like here and there we touched base, but we didn't really plan on, you know, making it the whole way together per se. So that's a tough. Yeah, and then I met up with a fellow from Sisters, Oregon. His name was Handbrake. I'm Landslide, by the way. And then he and I finished the rest of the trail. He was my point man. He was a little bit faster than me, so it kind of encouraged me to keep going to finish. You know, because he was his older. I was 64. He was 62. Plus, he had a GPS, and I just had hard copy maps, so it's easier to navigate with him too, leading the trail. So, have you met any interesting characters besides yourself? I mean, you know, on trail.
What did you? My alarm went off, so I couldn't.
Have you met any interesting characters besides yourself? Any interesting hikers? You know, you have any hiker stories? Hiker stories, like, you know.
I have tons of hiker stories.
That's what's so cool about this. You can bring, you know, when you do routine life, you just have, oh yeah, here you have all kinds of interactions and things going on, and challenges. It's so cool.
I'm trying to think. I hiked with a really amazing woman for like, we hiked together for about 2 weeks, and I just thought like I just found her to be an amazing person. Like she's like, I think she may have told me that she's like 64 or 65, and she's doing this solo hike, and all of her friends are like, okay, good luck. But at this point, she's like ahead of me on trail, which I'm like, wow, okay, cool. And she's just like trucking through, living her best life. And I'm like, I love that. She's probably been one of the most fascinating people I've met, just based on like hearing like her life story, and like knowing why she's doing this hike, and knowing that she's just pushing through, moving through. I enjoyed spending time with her and getting to know her. I would say that most of the people that I have stopped and talked with, or have had dinner with, or lunch or something like this, those people have been like really great folks. I enjoy the like community that comes from actually taking time to engage with someone and doing it in such an intentional way.
You could, you're very articulate. You could write a book, make it a movie, and you'd be like Wild, you know, Cheryl Strayed, and you could, you could go that far. I mean, it's very good what you're doing. And so, how has it changed you, like change-wise? You see any changes? The hiking? Because yeah.
I can't say with certainty what has changed, because I'm actively living it. So it's like, I'll know big changes until after I'm done. I guess one change that's readily is like, I eat more regularly. In my daily life, I don't eat often enough, but on trail, I eat pretty regularly. And it's like, that is something that I've noticed, like, oh, yes, I am hungry. Yes, I need to feed my body. Yeah. So being more mindful, I guess, would be.
Yeah, I see the comparison aspect really important. You go to trail towns, you know, resupply, and then back to the wilderness, and the comparison really, you see a lot from that. You're comparing how you are there in town and how you are in nature. And then I know for me, I brought that back, and I was living in a 500 a month cottage in Saratoga, California, and then I came back and I said, why am I paying $500 when I could sleep outside? So I became like purposely homeless basically because there was like forest around there, and I still have my gardening job, the gardening route. So I saved $500, and I live now. Now I sleep outside. I still sleep outside wherever I am. It's claustrophobic sleeping indoors. So in that
Mm,
way, it changed me. Plus, again, I see the concern. There's a concern for me, at least, that the planet is not doing well, and we need to do something to offset it somehow. Any little thing, So it's kind of why I'm doing this too, because I see this as a template, the hiker community, for people that are awoke, not necessarily even to nature and the planet, but just to a different lifestyle and seeing life a different way. There can be different options and opportunities rather than buying into the system and indoctrination that we've been brought up through. So,
mm.
are you in school too?
Me? No,
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 okay. Besides the
no.
edu email.
Oh, I'm using, it's just my account was set up and my Zoom
Okay.
account was set up through school. So that's my Zoom email.
Okay. Because I'm in Grand Canyon University. I'm taking online courses there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right
Uh,
on. Awesome.
yeah, just for basically the student loan money. I mean, they
Mm,
pay your books and tuition, but then you get the balance left over. You get that three or four big payments during the year.
mm, mm.
So okay, so I like to keep it about half an hour.
Oh, okay.
So what else would you like to share with the other hikers in public before we leave? Anything else you'd like to say
Uh,
about anything? Advice for
no,
us or any kind of
stay hydrated and be
okay.
kind to one another's. And by one another's, I mean the ground that you walk on, the space that you occupy. Be kind to the people's whose house you're walking into. So those are all the animals and things like this. Like you're going into their space, so be respectful. Yeah, just be respectful towards one another, the planet, and yeah, drink a lot of water.
Yeah, good. Just make sense of things.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
we're so far away now from making sense. It's just ridiculous. So okay, let's have the hikers group up and take over the world now. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. And send me any photos, videos, links, and we'll add it to the video. And I'll send you the link when we're done in a couple of days.
Thank you. It was very nice meeting with you.
Yeah, good to know you. I'll be following you on your
All right.
trail.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Happy trails. Bye.
You too. Be well. Bye.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be